It appears that the next installment of this video series by the King of Lightning is absolutely preposterous. These savage monkeys from this world have no business claiming intellect in any way. I, Lord Frieza, who stand on top of the galaxy, nigh the universe, will see to it that these filthy half-breeds will be eradicated. And I do not fear the Nika, for the Nika is beneath Lord Frieza's mighty dominance. Intelligence is but folly compared to the majesty of the Lord of the universe. Yo, what a do? Yeah, listen, man. These Japanese props about to go a long way. Too much fun with the Lord Frieza trash can. It's small, it's cute, and yes, he's staying. Frieza about to be in the background of a lot of videos for years to come. Years. Y-E-A-R. What's the last one, Frieza?
Monkeys.
Ah, S. That's right. So, in today's video, we're gonna be wrapping up this series with the second to last installment of the series, Intelligence. Intelligence / Battle IQ. You can go in the description box down below and check out the past installments of this series. We have done this since January of this year, and all stems from a post that I made in December of 2023, where I compared in my book the overall power levels of the monster trio, Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji, relative to one another, how I viewed them. I did one video in January about that. I didn't touch it for most of the year, and then during my vacation in Japan, which ended this week, super sad, because Japan was a phenomenal trip. It is the best trip I've had literally in my life, and it opened so many perspectives for me that I even think was possible, honestly. I'm feeling really damn good. Will it last? Who knows? Who knows? Life is a roller coaster, okay? There's ups and downs, and right now, we're on a big up, absolutely. So let me try and take advantage of said up and get the work out there for you guys and gals to enjoy, because there's so much to discuss, and I have so many more projects to get to, absolutely. So even though this series was dead, we revitalized it during my vacation in Japan, and now let's finish this through and through with some gusto. So when it comes to intelligence and battle IQ, what's the difference? Let me start there, okay? Before I make any changes, what's the difference? Well, in terms of the power scale, intelligence just tends to be how sharp someone is on the day-to-day. When it comes to fighting, when it comes to outside of fighting, when it comes to good and bad decision making, when it comes to utilizing or not utilizing tactics, when it comes to keen insight on things, and so on and so forth. Intelligence, for the most part, is that. You can be book smart, you can be street smart, you can be very knowledgeable in a certain field, which allows someone to be successful on a regular basis. Let's say, for example, Senku from Dr. Stone, or Bulma from Dragon Ball, or Wang Shitan from Avatar, who has a deep library of knowledge. In the sense of fighting, it can, let's say, be someone like Yujiro Hanma from Baki, where Yujiro Hanma has a very deep well of knowledge and understanding of martial arts techniques and the history of certain moves and so on and so forth. This is normal what intelligence is in the grand scheme of things, and how good and how low it is depends on these factors. Battle IQ is more improvising in real time. Another way of looking at battle IQ will be adaptability, where it's on the fly thought processes or instincts or experience that allows you to improvise in real time and adapt to a situation in the middle of battle, hence battle IQ. One of the things that's strange that folks will do is that they'll separate, at least they'll try to separate, intelligence from battle IQ, and they'll say it's just instincts. But that's not the case at all, because you have, again, characters that not only rely on their instincts, but they also rely on their experiences too. So their experience and your instincts, and then being able to think in real time about something in the heat of battle, is also a part of battle IQ. And this category exists for a lot of characters that on the day-to-day in the macro are really dumb. They make poor decisions on a regular basis, i.e., Monkey D. Oh my God, the monkey, the monkey D. Luffy. He is a poor decision maker on the macro. Absolutely is. He does have moments where he's on point because of his instincts. Like, for example, when he focused on Crocodile, despite Vivi's wishes, she wanted to try and save the whole country. Luffy's like, no. Crocodile. I gotta be Crocodile. So with all that being said, any changes here? Any changes? Yeah, there are changes to both intelligence and battle IQ, and they both go for Monkey D. Luffy. I'm dropping Luffy's intelligence to a 2. Luffy's dumb. Luffy on the macro, he's just stupid. No matter how I look at it, Luffy's intelligence has got to be low, because even when he does have these glorious moments of realization, a lot of times they're based on his instincts first and foremost. So he's a 2. But his battle IQ, I'm going to raise to a 9. But it's for a roundabout reason that is not necessarily based on IQ, but it kind of is. I'll explain it in greater detail later. Before I get to battle IQ, very quickly, intelligence. Compared to one another, based on my new scores, Luffy is a 2, Zoro is a 6, and Sanji is a 10. Zoro does have these moments here and there where he is relatively smart. And a lot of times that does come out in his level-headedness, where, for example, when Usopp left the crew, it was Zoro who had to regulate Luffy, not only when he left the crew at that point in time, but also when he had to come back, where he wouldn't allow Luffy to bring him onto the crew, Usopp, because of Usopp's immunity. He had to prove that he was genuinely sincere and sorry about what he had done before he could rejoin the crew. That was relatively smart on Zoro to recognize that if Usopp could just come back to the crew, then it sets a bad precedence for other crew members and Usopp and the Captain Luffy himself, to where anyone could, let's say, just commit mutiny and be welcomed back into the fold of the Straw Hats without any repercussions. Knowing what was really going on, let's say on Whiskey Peak, where it was actually a bunch of bounty hunters and he was fully aware of that. So Zoro does have his moments when it comes to intelligence for sure. However, compared to Sanji, he falls short. We can look at, for example, the entire Mr. Prince storyline that started in Little Garden and then comes to a head essentially in chapter 175, where he's able to lure Crocodile out from the casino, which allows him to infiltrate and release the crew. That is a well thought out plan by Sanji to utilize the enemy's lack of info on him to his advantage. Another great example is Enies Lobby. When most of the crew was fighting outside in the main runway area, trying to protect Robin, Chopper can't move, Zoro lost a sword to that Rust dude, Luffy still fighting against Rob Lucci, and yada yada, so on and so forth, Sanji's not there. Sanji literally is not in that battle for the vast majority of that battle. Why? Because Sanji deviates and he actually finds the control room for the gates of justice. And when he does that, the gates of justice start to close, and the whirlpools, as if they were Pokemon attacks, the whirlpools that were gone start to reform, which completely disrupts the Buster Call's formation. This is a huge W for them because it allows them to escape without getting that focus fire from those big warships. Sanji was the one who thought that in advance, went to that location, and got the job done. Punk Hazard. Sanji was able to lead the Marines in a systematic fashion, allowing them to capture the kids and sedate the kids, allowing for Chopper and company to do what they had to do, which of course wound up saving the children's lives. There are so many moments that Sanji has when it comes to displaying his wit and his insight, his intelligence, where he was able to figure out that there was another train leaving Water 7, and he knew that Robin, if she had to leave, would take that train. Hence Sanji in the darkness, like the cigarette, bingo, I got it.
Bingo.
Like Sanji, when it comes to intelligence, he's clearly the best among the monster trio, without a damn doubt, because he has a lot more instances of being very tactful and smart compared to Zoro, of course, and absolutely compared to Luffy. However, battle IQ is a bit different, because in battle IQ, I have Sanji still at a 10, but I got Zoro at an 8, and I have Luffy at an 8. Because even though they are, for the most part, dum-dums, not that bright on the day-to-day, particularly Luffy, who is a fill in the rest, when it comes to fights.
Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
I have Zoro at an 8, Luffy at a 9, and I have Sanji at a 10. When it comes to battle IQ, man, woo boy, they get the job done. But Sanji gets the job done in terms of battle IQ more regularly than both Luffy and Zoro. Now, real quick, the reason why I rose Luffy is because of it's Gear 5. Because Gear 5 Luffy, when I think about it, his instincts with his fun factor are souped up to a whole new level to where he's allowed to be a lot more creative than when he is, let's say, in regular base or in Gear 2 or in Gear 3, Gear 4. And so at the bare minimum, his battle IQ may be the same, but he's able to actualize it more frequently because of Gear 5 shenanigans, right? When he fought against Rob Lucci before he got skadooshed by the Dawn Rocket, what happened? Luffy, I have an idea. Bounce off the thing, goggles, woo! And the ability of the Gear 5 allows him to actualize way more of his adaptability than, let's say, his other forms. We literally saw him become a Dodgers team member, pulled out a Shohei Ohtani baseball bat and helmet, and knocked back Venom Bijou bombs from Jay Garcia Saturn. Conventional Luffy is gonna have to handle that in a completely different manner compared to Gear 5 Luffy. But Gear 5 allows for that to happen in the first place. I admit, his battle IQ could be the same when it comes to Luffy Gear 5 versus Luffy non-Gear 5. Fair enough. But because he can actualize it a lot more given the freedom of ability he has with Gear 5, I felt I had to raise Luffy a little bit more in battle IQ. In the past, Luffy has done things like, for example, turn off his brain against NL, where he was getting frustrated with NL's observation haki, so he went to like brain off mode and he started to dodge the attacks like a leaf in the wind. During Whole Cake Island Saga, Luffy was able to force Katakuri into the mirror world on the ship by expanding his arm, and even Katakuri couldn't do anything about it, and then he was forced into the mirror world. Or let's say, for example, when he thought about eating, ridiculous, honest to God, when he thought about eating all of Cracker's biscuit bodies after Nami soaked them with water. That was a pretty smart idea for Luffy to do that at that point in time. Ridiculous, stupid, but that was a smart idea, undeniably. Another example, let's say, could be Luffy realizing that he could use his blood to fight against Crocodile, because that blood would solidify Crocodile's sand, so he'd actually do damage to him. In the 4Kids dub, he's just sweating. It's so smart, oh my God. But the blood makes a lot more sense. So there are moments where he does display pretty high battle IQ, whether it be instincts or a quick thought, he does display on a regular basis. And again, with Gear 5, he can just actualize it a lot more than, let's say, he could when he's not in Gear 5. So there are times where he does try something and then it doesn't work at all. Like when he attacked Warcurry a few times and it just did not work. With the Red Rock, then in Gear 5, then didn't work. At times, I do feel like I should drop Luffy, let's say, below Zoro to a 7. At times, he's just so damn ingenious with his adaptability with Gear 5. He should be a 10. So Gear 5 and Luffy and the shenanigans, they're hard to gauge overall when it comes to adaptability. But Zoro is on par with Luffy too when it comes to battle IQ. Where when Zoro fought against Ohm on Skypiea, Zoro realized that it was now or never, that Ohm had the advantage on him when it came to presence. So he decided to commit all of his attack power into that one 720-pound Phoenix Cannon to break through Ohm's Ironclad sword and then take out Ohm. In the midst of battle, a very smart move by one Ronor Zoro. Then, let's say, for example, we had Zoro fight against Pika, where Zoro was actually figuring out how Pika's abilities work, like where he would be, and he realized that some of the rocks were dead when he cut them, and then the other rocks, other stone, were alive. That's where Pika was at. So he's able to figure out more and more about how Pika's powers worked by figuring out how Pika would move with rock that was not within his domain and the rock that was within his domain. Of course, King the Wildfire, where he was figuring out what King the Wildfire's abilities were. At some point, started to realize, okay, fine. When his flame is off, he's in speed form. When his flame is on, he's more indestructible. And of course, let's say even on the fly, where I know a lot of folks really want to say pinpoint instincts as just battle IQ, which is the wrong thing to do because, again, it's more so adaptability in the heat of battle. Someone could have very poor instincts, but a tremendous amount of experience, which allows them to act accordingly in situations despite their poor instincts, because they have that much more experience on top of their instincts. Or someone is just that much smarter in real time and in the heat of battle can perceive what's going on much quicker than someone that has very high instincts, okay? But let's even still, when it comes to instincts, you have, let's say, moments where Zoro, when he was falling off Onigashima by King the Wildfire, he did the clear lance move, which I believe he made up at that point in time, in real time, to propel himself up into the air, and then he went back onto the island. So that, I say, is a clear instance of Zoro using his instincts of these tongue twisters, man. Oh my god. Lord Frieza, I'm dyslexic, so just give me a break. Okay, relax.
Okay.
Thank you. Zoro does have a lot of these moments where instinctually, quick thought processes, he is very, very smart. And Luffy the same way too. But they're not as smart in battle IQ compared to Sanji, whether it's instinctively on the fly or like a quick thought process or experiences. Sanji across the board is just better in IQ and battle IQ from beginning to end. From the beginning of the story, in its introduction, all the way to now, he's just been better. So for example, in battle against Kurobi, what he do in order to survive Kurobi's underwater pressure drop move, he started breathing oxygen into his gills, which forced Kurobi to go back onto the land where Sanji could lay on these haymakers and devastate Kurobi. In Alabasta, remember this fight against Bon Clay? Bon Clay put on these sort of duck ballerina tutu shoe extensions, but the tips of them were steel. And when he attacked with them, they would drill holes into the buildings around him. But what did Sanji do? Sanji realized in the heat of battle that because he was lacking in range, he could make up for it in speed because Bon Clay's attacks would take a longer time to retract back into their resting position, which allowed Sanji to get the one-up on speed. So Sanji started to speed up in battle while Bon Clay had a slower retraction time with attacks, which allowed Sanji to get the edge over Bon Clay during that fight. Another example is when he fought against Absalom Thriller Bark, where even though Absalom is invisible and he couldn't sense him, obviously, he used the salt balls that Usopp gave him, and he threw them around him to try and figure out where he would be. So these are examples of Sanji in the heat of battle, figuring out a way, whether it be through a tactic or in real time, at that point in time, in that moment, trying to figure out something to get the W. And we've seen Sanji do that time and time and time again. And the reason why is because Sanji, among most of the characters in the Monster Trio, Sanji has to deal with trickier opponents more often. A lot of times in Luffy Zoro's fights, it's just plow through, get the W, and there is some thought process in mind, but a lot of times they're not tricky dudes. How does Zoro overcome Mr. One? He is able to tap into it instinctively. Unbeknownst to him, he's able to tap into the breadth of all things, aka armor haki probably in some way, and then he's able to cut through that steel. But the entire time, Zoro's mindset was what? Plow ahead. Force your way through, and he starts doing all of these combos, Mr. One, and none of them are penetrating the steel hide Mr. One. Crocodile was tricky, let's say, insofar as Logia power, but Sanji, remember that, against Bon Clay, he had to deal with an actual, like, nerf of some kind, because Bon Clay could transform into Nami. But I believe that Sanji was aware of his powers beforehand, because the crew had told Sanji about Bon Clay and what he could do, so Sanji, during his combo, could trick Bon Clay into touching his face again when he transformed into Nami. So that'd be, let's say, more of a sign of his intelligence overall, rather than say it's battle IQ because he was already aware of that in advance, right? One of the best examples of this, like peak battle IQ Sanji play here, was the end of the Jabra fight. How does Zoro beat Kaku? Zoro beats Kaku ultimately by out-brawling him, where Zoro's Ashura beats out, I forgot the English name of it, but because I went to Japan, I can say the weeb name, and the weeb name, the Japanese name, is the Amanerachi, I believe it's called. So it's the move that he used to cut the entire tower in half. I believe that's what he did to try and destroy the Sunny Go, where he does that rotating, breakdancing giraffe move, but Zoro just outpowers him, and then he just takes him out. How does Sanji beat Jabra though? Well, after Sanji hits Jabra with the double leg for the first time, Sanji jumps to the air in the middle of that zone. He baits Jabra in. Jabra then goes for his Moonlight 10 Shigen thing, but then Sanji kicks away only one of Jabra's hands. The other attack, what does Sanji do? He takes it. He takes it to the chest or to the stomach purposefully. And the reason why is because when he swatted away the other hand, it allowed for his devil leg foot to make full contact with Jabra's face, the flamber shot. Peak battle IQ, peak. In terms of battle IQ, Sanji, he has it in spades. From as recent as him in real time trying to figure out what he has accumulated in terms of power, and then realizing he's allowed to go even for hotter temperatures, therefore Ifrit Jambe. The same way Luffy thought in real time how to take down Rob Bellucci, idea, boom. The same way he went, let's say, into brain dead mode against NL, Sanji thought of something on the fly. Okay, my powers, boom, here we go. Ifrit, whether it's battle IQ or intelligence overall, whether it's adaptability in a fight or in the macro intelligence, Sanji has, I would argue, the rest of the monster trio beat. So we are almost done the series. We have one more video left. If you want to see the other videos, then of course there'll be links in the description box down below for these videos. And if you enjoy your boy's content at large, make sure to give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and click on that bell to join the notification squad. I'm gonna catch you guys and gals on the flip side.
See you. Bye-bye.